Welcome to the Ozark Hobby Adventurist, and today on the workbench we're going to build us a guitar string foam cutting tool. Now, this is just a very simple setup. You guys can get as elaborate as you want. I'm just going to show you the basics because it's kind of cool, and I kind of had to build one anyway. So what we're going to use is 2 bolts or screws, 6 nuts, 2 washers, the G guitar string, which would be the 3rd small string from the bottom, unwound. It doesn't have any windings on the outside. It's just a smooth, solid piece of string. And I'm using a whammy bar spring and a screw. And so the first thing we're going to have to do is we are going to drill a couple holes 16 inches apart from each other. I'm doing this on my workbench too, by the way. So I had to make it to where I could disassemble it and then reassemble it later in the same spot. So you stick your screw or your bolt through there, put you a washer, put you a nut, and do the same thing on the other side. This side here is going to be the side that you wrap your string around, the end of the string. Alright, when you get that hole drilled on the other side, you're going to come to this side, you're going to drill a hole also next to the washer. This is where your power wire is going to come up. I changed things a little bit and ended up not using this on this side, but the other side goes together the same way. And you want to pull your slack out so you don't have anything getting hooked up on anything as you're sliding your foam across. And this will give you actually a really good electrical connection for what we're doing. Alright, that's just snug enough to hold. Get the other side in. Okay, here's the hole that we're drilling for the spring. This is going to take a little bit of ingenuity to figure out the right spot. But you definitely want a decent amount of tension on the string. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. Oh, sorry. Couldn't resist myself. Okay, now the 2 nuts over here, simply let the string rest in between them. All they do is hold the string. They don't actually tighten down on the string. And I'm using my little box here as a gauge. Now that string is going to move around that bolt right there, which is why you have the spring. As the string gets hotter, it begins to stretch. So here's the end that we wrapped one end around, and we got our height set and then snugged down the nuts. Basically, you would do the same thing on the other side, except the string runs in between the 2 nuts, more like a pivot point or a bearing. And then you have your spring and your adjuster. And once again, this is a unwound solid steel G string at 17 thousandths of an inch. Here is how the spring and the screw mounts. Alright, now we're going to get to the power supply. I was always told that a model train power supply would work. It doesn't. It doesn't have it. So I went with something a little heavier duty, 9 volts, 3 amps. Junked this one out too. What to use for a power supply? How about one of these? A 7.2 volt battery pack. Hey, now we're getting somewhere. Alrighty, so what I ended up doing is I have got some little test leads that I built in one of our soldering videos and plug them in. See, they just like plug in, unplug individually, so I can use them for all kinds of stuff. And this wire goes to this post, and we'll hook that to the negative. Alright, now all we have to do is hook the positive up to the closest post, and we are ready to cut some foam. Now the nice thing about this is you don't have to go out and hunt for anything other than like a guitar string. Now I want you to watch how fast this heats up. I plug it up, I cut. Shazam. So it's not like you gotta wait 5 minutes for it to get hot, which is nice, because a couple seconds after you unplug it, you can touch it to clean it if you need to clean it. A lot of that stuff will melt off of there if you're making long cuts. That's pretty much about as simple as it gets. But we're going to try to play some more. Cut. So this could give you all kinds of ways to cut all kinds of foams and plastic, closed cell, open cell foam, all kinds of neat stuff. It's pretty easy to clean. You just rub your fingernail across it. But this is a very dense foam. This is dock foam. And that's actually what we're going to be cutting out. And so you can see how this foam, because it's denser, is going to cut much slower. And this is where you have to have patience, because you can see it's not a very wide piece. The problem you'll have is getting too much electricity to the wire and getting the wire too hot. So 7.2 volts, couple amps seems to be a workable solution for the guy that doesn't want to have to go hunt down a power supply or a rheostat or some type of electrical control unit like that. And there you have it. It's pretty simple. So you're going to play around with different ideas of different ways of getting angles. And the whole idea is if you don't play with it, well, then you won't be able to figure out how to cut with it. So we are going to, this is real time, this is not slowed down, this is not sped up. So you can see that you have to have some patience. And when you don't let the guitar string snap real hard like that. When you get close to your edge, just slow down even more. By snapping that string, you're going to stretch the string, and then you got to make more adjustments. So if you just go slow and smooth and easy, you're going to get some real good cuts. Make sure and clean the area that you are using so you don't have little bits of foam and dirt, because that'll make things not work in your favor. Alright, gonna try a little freehand in here, which I know is gonna suck because I've never done that before. Remember, the wire's hot. It's a little trimming. It does not work real well for skimming, trying to trim like that. It's a cutter, not a trimmer. But play around with the idea. Who knows what you might make. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you make one of these, you can make your own boat, or you can slab out little pieces of foam for whatever project you got going on. So it's amazing what you can do with a little electricity and a little piece of guitar string. And every little boat needs a big gun. Psh, there you go. For all you World of Warship guys out there. Well, thanks for watching. Share, like, subscribe. Check out some of our other videos. Feel free to leave a comment. Steve's ready for a break and so am I. So it's time to charge some batteries and find a rock.